He's here. You heard from Lulu?
What'd you do to her this time?
It wasn't me, it was your father. He's back.
Where'd you see him?
At the Quartermains. Baldwin's made a deal with your dad, you know, to drop the charges against him and turn your mother back over to Nicholas.
Why would Scott do that?
To give me and Lulu another shot.
Oh, you put Baldwin up to it, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Baldwin made the deal behind my back and Lulu agreed to it. All right, except that your father showed up, found the two of us together. He's freaked out. Lulu's taken off. I don't know where she is. I asked your father about it. He didn't know either.
Listen, if my dad made Lulu rethink to give you a second chance, good for him.
Hey, you've never made any mistakes? Why don't you do yourself a favor? Worry a little more about where your sister's at and stop judging me.
Too much for you, Bill? You gonna let him walk out of here like that?
I didn't ask him to come in.
Well, then what did he want?
Nothing that concerns you.
Fair enough. Let's talk about your divorce.
Honest to God, Em, I could not have done this without you.
This move and everything it represents should only be done with a pizza, a bottle of wine, and a best friend.
All this, and she lines shelves too.
Look, I'm glad for the distraction. I mean, Nicholas has been going through all these cognitive and psychological tests, and the doctors still aren't sure what's been triggering his mood swings.
Oh, geez, no wonder you're worried.
Yeah, and it drives him crazy when I hover. He thinks I'm constantly looking for symptoms, so I think it's just better for everyone that I am here.
Well, I'm grateful. I just hope you remember that bottle of wine.
You're excited about this, aren't you?
It's a big step, being on my own. And now that I'm finally taking it, I realize I probably should have done this months ago.
Hello, Alexis. Hello, Diane. Did you get confirmation of the mediation date?
I did, right here. It's October 24th, which is a little earlier than I was expecting.
Date was open. I saw no reason to delay.
Diane, this is a divorce. It's not a criminal proceeding. You don't have to push quite that hard.
My client has requested a swift resolution.
Which client? Elizabeth or Jason?
I represent only Elizabeth Weber in this matter.
So if I were to subpoena your billing records, would it state that Elizabeth is paying your reputed costly legal fees, or that she's being charged a nominal fee and Jason is picking up the rest of the tab?
Elizabeth is a working mother. If I choose to give her a break on her legal fees, that's entirely my business.
Unless Jason is paying the balance.
May I remind you, Alexis, that yours is the client who is actively engaged in an extramarital affair with your daughter, as it happens?
I think we're getting a little off topic.
Oh.
Elizabeth has every right to have a relationship with Jason. However, she does not have a right to endanger her children. And I believe Lucky is just concerned that his children are protected.
So Lucky is pushing for primary custody as a precautionary measure in the event that Elizabeth at some point in the future wishes to renew her relationship with Jason Morgan, a man who has never been convicted of a single crime, incidentally?
Let me bottom line this. Elizabeth accepts 50-50 split custody, which is fair and appropriate, or I will admit testimony from all of the witnesses that have seen Jason holding Jake. I will then subpoena medical records from my daughter from the incident where she was shot while Jason was holding her. So you see, I have a very good case for child endangerment. Diane, please don't make me use it.
Custody, or even visitation, of Cameron is off the table. Cameron is not Lucky's son, legally or biologically, so Lucky has no rights whatsoever as far as Elizabeth's oldest son is concerned.
That may be true, according to the letter of the law. But I really find it unsettling that you and your client would want to separate Cameron from the only father that he's ever known in what amounts to be a negotiating tactic.
Lucky does have certain theoretical rights as far as Jake is concerned. However, Mr. Spencer's problems with substance abuse are a matter of public record, and I have already lined up expert testimony as to the high incidence of relapse, and I am fully prepared to prove that it is not Elizabeth, but Lucky who presents the true danger to Jake.
Okay, so before I take the next step, I just want to be sure that you and your client are refusing to compromise on any level.
50-50 custody is absolutely unacceptable. My client wants full custody. Lucky can have visitation with both boys every other weekend, 2 weeks in the summer, and alternating Christmases.
I think we're wasting each other's time, and we're clearly wasting our client's money.
Lucky chose to make this a fight. Now, if he did so at your instigation, I strongly advise you to reconsider. Tell Lucky to take whatever Elizabeth is willing to give him, or he will wind up with nothing. The guy is a wretched failure as a husband, and I can and will prove it in court.
Diane, do you understand that we're talking about real human beings here?
Mm-hmm. And my person wants to hang on to her children. And I intend to make damn sure that she does. Excuse me.
There's no reason for me to talk to you about the divorce.
Well, I just wanted to apologize for what happened at Jason's trial. I know how difficult it must have been when I brought out Elizabeth's affair with Jason.
No, Rick, you don't know.
No, I imagine that revelation is the primary reason that you two are divorcing.
You know what? Like I said, I'm not interested in discussing this with you.
I'm just wondering if you appreciate the irony here, Lucky, that Jason was able to take Elizabeth away from both of us. It just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Neither is what you did with Elizabeth by putting her on the witness stand.
I wasn't the one who had an affair with your wife while you were still married to her.
Are you just trying to get me to join your war against Jason?
Never hurts to have an ally.
You're my boss. I treat you with respect. But what you did with Elizabeth, by dragging her through the mud in the courtroom, it was wrong. So no matter what you say, the only person who benefited from this was you.
I'm so grateful you found this place for me.
Yeah, I knew you didn't want to stay at Audrey's for too long.
I finally feel independent again. As opposed to a 3-time failure who runs home to Graham's every time she falls flat on her face.
Are you kidding? You are not a failure. Elizabeth, you get huge points for trying, first of all. Most people don't even do that. You have 2 great sons. You're beautiful. You're dedicated to your work. Your life has a world of potential, and it's just waiting for you to figure out what is next.
Well, next is settling in, making a routine for myself and the boys so the 3 of us can start to feel like a family.
And what about Lucky?
Once the mediation is done and there's a custody agreement, I hope that Lucky and I will be able to make things okay for Cameron and Jake.
Hold that!
To a job well done.
To your future.
Thank you.
Hello. Well, isn't this cheerful?
Hi. How'd it go with Alexis?
Oh, Alexis is such a lovely woman. She is so bright. She's got such excellent taste. Naturally, I'll be tearing her to pieces. We are no closer than before to an agreement, which bodes very well for you.
I don't understand.
Alexis is doing a lot of posturing, but she and Lucky have absolutely no room to maneuver, which means that you will be getting everything you deserve.
My meeting with Diane proved to be unproductive. I should have known that she would take this right to the wall.
That's what Jason pays her for.
I don't know that we're going to be able to prove that Jason is paying Diane to represent Elizabeth. What we're going to do is use Jason's involvement with Elizabeth to our benefit. Now, his life is surrounded by violence. This presents an ongoing threat to the health and well-being of Jake and Cameron.
No argument here.
Elizabeth allows Jason to have contact with Jake, so this is giving you the opportunity to file for emergency guardianship.
You wanted me to take custody away from Elizabeth?
This is a negotiating tactic. If you have emergency guardianship, it puts you in a position of strength when we talk about custody.
This is temporary, right?
Custody will be the first thing that we talk about in mediation. But if Jake is living with you, it will undermine Diane's case and give Elizabeth incentive to compromise.
If this is what it takes to protect my son, let's do it.
Where are you?